Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are about to witness the American Mind Grind, a controversial show that covers topics of all size, shape, and color. Please be advised, this show will make your brain hurt. If you have a faint heart or weak liver, it is suggested that you consult your physician before participating. Others may consider a glass of water and 2 Advil to lower your blood pressure. You will have to think. Your mind will get addicted to our program. We bring it to you straight and do not duck any of the issues. Although it may hurt, this show is good for you. We must be aware of our surroundings and understand what is happening in this crazy world we live in. Remember, the comments of this show are that of opinion only. We are not professionals. We will not be held responsible for any of the stupid things you may or may not do after listening to our show.
Scotty.
Put the phone on your butt, it's a booty call. And I'm coming to bust nuts on all y'all. And I'm out, half a blunt hanging off my mouth. Speeding like a demon on 101 South. I smoke chewy like a motherfucking nut. You got a grand bag, get this actor roller up. It's Andre Nicotine, the tiger coming out the cuts. Maximum speed driving, I don't give a fuck. Garcia blunt, put me hunting down the cat. This bitches on the streets, motherfucker, where you at? Dipping on Swayze with my niggas from the set. The blunt went out. But we ain't done yet. Get another one play.
You are listening to the American Mind Grind. We're streaming live from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm here with Eric Roth, and we have 2 special guest hosts. We have Spencer Blaze and Jessica Wood. How was your week, guys?
Good, definitely. It was a good one for sure.
Spencer, what have you been up to lately, brother? Talk to me.
I actually just recently had a Thanksgiving. It was a Thanksgiving full of weed things. Like we made a turkey that had a bunch of weed in it. We literally brined it in like a weed juice.
That's awesome.
And then stuck weed butter inside the skin.
You infused it with weed butter.
Like straight stuck the butter inside the skin and everything, and then we had weed gravy, weed mashed potatoes, weed cranberry sauce.
Your boy at the bar was telling me that you actually took shots of gravy, right?
Yeah.
Like shooters.
Yeah, literally. It was
awesome,
yeah,
dude.
the gravy was probably
damn.
the thickest of it. Like it had the most in it for sure. It was crazy.
Wow, man. Yeah, tell me, and how did that go over, man? What kind of effect did it have on you?
Oh, everybody got real stoned. You know,
Oh, I bet.
Definitely. I mean, we had a lot of people over. It was like all of our really good friends and everything, and it was just kind of a really good time. Like we all just hung out. Nobody got too crazy or nothing went wild. Like if we were drinking, maybe that would have been another story. But we didn't want to do both at the same time. So
See, I was doing the research for the show this week. You know, as we go deep into all details of all of our stories, what I found out was when you eat weed, there's really no limit. There's no sky's the limit, dude, as far as that goes. Like when you're smoking it, you hit like a plateau and then you're stuck there. You know what I mean? Fuck, I'm stoned. Let me get some Cheetos and go night-night. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, it's a totally different ballgame when you're eating the shit. You know what I mean? Because the residual, it can get you to a place where you're like hallucinating, right?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, out-of-body experience, you know what I mean?
To a certain extent, it depends on like what kind of stuff you're using. Like there's this stuff called RSO. It's Rick Simpson oil. It's kind of a little bit different than just like the wax, the General's kind of stuff, or like CBD oils. So there's different things you can use that are different ways, and that's where a lot of the research has been kind of leading it to. It's a little bit more control of it. You know what I mean?
What else you been doing? You've been coming to visit me from time to time this week too,
yeah,
bro.
of course, hanging out at the bar.
He likes to drink. He likes to drink.
I do, definitely.
Who doesn't?
He's got a little predisposition to be a gambler too, man.
Oh,
Spencer likes to gamble from time to time. You know, no big deal. No big deal. We're weaning him off blackjack. This fucking video blackjack crack shit that he does. He cracks up, dude. Crack out. You know what I mean? But we're getting him off that. We're weaning him off into the caveman Keno nickels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or the super race slots.
Yeah, we're off the $80 a hand blackjack thing. You know, it can get up to that. But anyway, we're having fun with it. And fuck me, I'm so happy you finally came on the show, dude.
Yeah,
I really am happy about that. Very cool. How about your week, Miss Jessica?
It's been good. 29 for 7 days now, so woohoo.
Right on.
And I'm to that point where it takes you 4 days to recover from the day of drinking and partying.
You need to talk to Jeff. He's cured the hangover.
See, my research tells me, and I'm not quite sure if I'm accurate or not. Certainly, I don't have this perspective of it. But women, you have like a useful life of about 31, right? So you got like a couple more years left before they have to put you out to pasture, or what?
Next year's a dirty 30.
Yeah, 30. Once 30 comes, you know, need new model. You know what I'm saying? It's just nuts.
Terrible.
I'm a horrible person.
How was your week, Eric?
Oh shit, man! What a week! You know, Matt and I talk all throughout the week, you know, and Thanksgiving is an interesting time. It's a horrible fucking holiday. You know, people. Okay, here's what happens. Okay, I'll give you guys a scenario. I get a call. I'm at the house. I get ring, ring. Eric, what's up? I'm like, nothing much, man. What's going on? Oh, it's your in-law. What are y'all doing for Thanksgiving? How's things going for you? I'm like, what, over the last 330 days I haven't talked to you? Fucking great. You know what I'm saying? It's awesome. I mean, when's the last time we talked around Christmas last year? Hey, y'all having food at your house? Yeah, we were thinking about it, dude. Yeah, my wife and I are going to bring that, you know, that green bean casserole you guys love. You know what I mean? So we're going to come on over to your house. Now they get there. Now they're at my goddamn house, which I don't want, okay? I don't want. He sits on my goddamn couch, folds his leg over. Now he's got his remote in his hand, my goddamn remote with my 65-inch fucking smart television, watching his fucking football team as I'm slaving away in the kitchen. Now I'm a food and beverage goddamn professional. You understand what I'm saying? And we're missing a very integral part of this. I don't get fucking tipped, okay, to have them over the house. It's a miserable thing. They're loitering. You understand? I hate these fucking people. But anyway, they're going to come over tomorrow. Welcome to the house, sons of bitches.
I'm guessing they don't listen to the grind.
Oh,
They don't listen. I don't care if they do or not. It's full disclosure here, bro. We don't hide. We don't hide behind.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, what I found out over the years. I'm getting a little older, and I'm coming across a little abrasive, but I have to say, tolerance and patience, man. It's a holiday of tolerance and patience. Okay, I've noticed in the last couple of years, I've understood my anger and my rage, and I've kind of come a little bit out tonight. But tomorrow, I'm going to have my composure in play. And I don't suspect there'll be a big blowout, you know what I mean? Unless they're like, hey, can you get me a beer or something like that? You know, I'll be fucking pissed, dude. But the flip side of it is there is a aspect of Thanksgiving. It reminds me of good times when I was a kid. In addition to that, I'm very thankful. I'm thankful I have a wonderful family that's healthy and happy. I'm thankful that I have a wonderful son who's my love of my life. And then I've got a new love of my life. I got little baby Leia, who's she's a shepherd mix, okay? And I picked her up from nothing short of a fucking puppy trafficker. You know the story. I mean, this lady, speaking no English. She's from California. She drives across state lines with a bunch of puppies all over the place. And I had made contact with her on Craigslist. My veterinarian, George Annis, he told me it was best, Dr. George. We all call him Dr. George. You go, Dr. George, right?
Best vet in the valley by far.
He's not taking new patients, so don't call him because he's getting old as fuck, and got to put him out to pasture for that matter. So he told me, because we have an 11-year-old that's a mix, shepherd and dingo, and she's just been such a great dog. And he's like, look, it can go two ways. The last couple of years, she can wind up, just sleeping a lot and just being lethargic and, getting sicker, and then you're going, the end is near. Or if you get a puppy for her, it'll be really cool, somebody to model for, somebody that can follow her around, annoy the shit out of her, which is exactly what's going on with little baby Leia. She follows her around, she tries to bite her tail, and she's like, God, I just want to bite you and kill you, but I'm too old for that, It's almost like my tolerance thing with the Thanksgiving thing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's tolerance, bro.
Oh, gotta say, I love the name too.
Oh, you like Leia? Yeah, well, I'm not the Star Wars, but I do have a 7-year-old son, so I'm taking exception on that.
How's your sleep pattern coming along?
Sleep pattern, I'm exhausted. I'm miserable. I have to maintain a very busy schedule with my son, driving him to and from school. I have to go and deal with adults that act like children all the time at work. And I got the in-laws coming, something to look forward to there, as you guys know. And then the last thing we've got going is Jeff Traylor. Let's talk about Jeff Traylor. And I know you're listening, bud, and all your family's listening up in Idaho. And the deal is we've been on the show 15 weeks. Now, Matt was sick. I think it was week 5 or 6.
Yeah, deathly sick.
But it's weird because you actually showed up.
I did.
This is Jeff's second unexcused absence.
Without Thrive. Too.
Without Thrive.
Sicker than a dog.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. But the reality is that Jeff's already missed 2 shows, and that's the poor attendance, and it's not professional. And I know you're up there with your family, and I love your family too, man. I get it, you know what I mean? But this absenteeism's got to stop, okay? And the other thing is, Jeff, I'm so sick of Jeff because Jeff is happy. He's got no strings attached. He goes and comes as he goes. Dates a couple chicks, tells him it's no big deal. He's just out in the nightlife, just having the frolicking around town. Just living really the dream, you know what I mean? I'm just sick of that. So I'm not thankful of Jeff whatsoever.
A little harsh.
It is what it is. And then the intern came tonight. Remember?
Yeah.
We're in pre-production. This fucking idiot comes into the studio and he's looking for Jeff. He's got a coffee cup and he's got his favorite cologne. He's like, "Where's Jeff Treller? Where's Jeff Treller?" You know what I mean?
It's that creepy guy that called last week.
Yes.
Yeah.
The same guy
Yeah.
who called last week showed up here tonight because Jeff told him he liked a certain kind of coffee, vanilla, whatever. And he showed up with his vanilla. He's like, "Where's Jeff? Where's Jeff?" I'm like, "Dude, you." I go, "It's just best if I give you all of his personal information so you can call him yourself." So, Jeff, get ready to run downtown and get your restraining order together, bro.
We got that to look forward to.
Jeff claims to have tiger's blood. You know what I mean? He's run tough and all that stuff. So, but somebody else in the world has got tiger's blood. Is that not right, Matt?
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen's got
Tiger's blood, HIV. What's the
Infused with
difference?
HIV.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, right?
So they infused, instead of weed into the turkey, they infused him with a little HIV.
with a little HIV in
Gotcha.
the tiger, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Charlie Sheen.
Where
my
to go with
goodness.
this story? Really, I mean,
Well, to give you guys some backstory, Charlie's now 50 years old, okay? 4 years ago, he was diagnosed with HIV. He came out on the Today Show. Bizarre goddamn interview there with Matt Lauer, wasn't it?
it was really weird. I like when he's like,
Did you see it, Spence?
Yeah, I was watching a little bit of
Dude,
it.
what a he's a
Strange.
fucking mess, dude. Like a
Yeah.
train wreck, right?
it's a rough 50,
Yeah, he has
man.
been for a while now.
Made me think. I went home, right? I saw the interview, and I went home, and I got deep in thought, and I realized that if you do long-term drug usage, like heavy-duty narcotics, it messes around with your brain. Yeah, like crack cocaine and stuff like that.
Who'd
Oh,
have
yeah.
thunk it?
Yeah. So anyway, Charlie's living the dream now. But anyway, he's got HIV. He between the years of 2008 and 2013, he earned $131 million. Isn't that something? Which includes $1.825 million on every episode they did on 2.5 Men.
Wow.
So he's got some money, and you know, we all know. Remember when Irvin Johnson got it?
Yeah.
Dude, he doesn't even test positive anymore for it, bro. He has
Really?
so much money. He went to Europe and got blood transfusion. Just push the shit out.
Wow. So
No
that
big
goes-
deal.
So there is a cure for HIV. It's money.
Isn't that something?
Basically.
Isn't that weird?
Wow.
Isn't that
That's-
something? Yeah.
that is-
I figured that out too. It really helps. Like poor people won't have that same opportunity.
Now, Charlie says he's told everyone that he's ever had sexual intercourse with that he told them about the HIV, correct?
Yeah, over the last 4 years, he says he had full disclaimer on every single person that he put his dick in. But the reality is, I don't think that happened at all, bro. I don't think he remembers every person that he's put his dick in.
I don't want to speak from past experience or anything, but when you're on a crack binge,
Right.
you do not have the full mental capacity to be like, hey, listen, I have HIV. Like,
Yeah.
let's talk about this. And has he told every dick that's been in him?
Yeah, or in his mouth, right?
Yeah, something crazy like that.
And the thing is this just came to us in a whim. There's a video. Is there not a video? Or we think there's a video.
That's-
The rumor mill is there's two rumor mills. One is there's a video that's out. Jessica, tell me about that video.
Yes, there is supposedly a video that Radar Online is holding from the guy that submitted the video to them who had sexual intercourse with Charlie, and they said there's three 30-second videos
Okay.
where it shows him smoking a crack pipe,
Okay.
and
Sounds like a good party.
in your world, maybe not mine.
Is Lamar there?
What'd you say?
Is Lamar there?
No, Lamar's laid up right now. He's coming back though. He'll be back with money.
He's
And actually, it could have been because it is in Nevada. I guess this guy's from Nevada.
Okay.
So
Local
Vegas,
product.
maybe.
Nice.
And he submitted the videos to Radar. I guess they've been going through a lawsuit that was settled out of court, $20 million
Uh-huh.
for him to not say anything.
Right. Confidentiality, a shut up deal, a civil suit, civil stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so he is smoking crack cocaine and he's giving this man oral fellatio.
Yes, they both give each
Gotcha.
other, and I mean, it's said that they're doing all sorts of sexual stuff with each other.
Oh, okay.
So
So
much do they possibly
exploratory
do in a
stuff.
minute? 30
maybe
seconds, though.
intercourse. I don't know.
Well, it's probably just the highlight reel, bro. you
the
watched
highlight.
ESPN, right?
And it's visible that it is Charlie Sheen. He looks the videos, smiles.
So it's genuine. Obviously,
It
he
is
paid
very
$20 million
genuine.
to shut it up.
And
So $20 million out of 150, Spence. That's a big number.
And wasn't he just like freaking out? Not even like just about 4 years ago, having this big meltdown, saying that like, oh, I'm just banging hookers left and right. Like,
Winning.
Yeah, he's winning.
So-
Dude, I
He's
think in
banging hookers left and right.
2014 he moved in with an adult porn star.
Well, is this the girl? Is
Yeah.
this the girl that did the
His-
HIV medicine that was boning him for like a year, didn't get HIV whatsoever while he was positive? Is that the same?
And they were having unprotected sex.
correct.
crazy.
Really?
Correct. There's
That's
actually
interesting.
a pill you can take. The acronym is PrEP. PrEP.
PrEP
Yeah.
is the acronym.
Prophylaxis, I believe.
Yeah, pre-exposed prophylaxis.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
okay.
and it's supposed to reduce your chance of exposure by 92%.
Yeah, but what about the 8 other percents?
Then you're just screwed.
Yeah, it sounds like it, you know.
Crapshoot.
Just so you know, folks out there, HIV AIDS in the 80s, 70s, 80s, when it became like a social, cultural, medical phenomenon, was really a death sentence back then. But now it's been reclassified, for those of you who don't know, to a chronic illness, same type of category as diabetes. So it's very manageable with money.
Well, that was
money
all the
comes in and
research.
helps.
That was all the research Matthew McConaughey did, right? Down in Texas.
Oh, for the Dallas Buyers Club. Yeah, exactly. Yo, that was a fascinating story,
That was
and for
actually
those of
good
you who
movie.
have not seen it, he wins the Academy Award for that movie, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Great movie, real feel-good movie. A guy deteriorating from AIDS and dies. So if you want to just feel good about yourself, you know, just run out there and grab Dallas Buyers Club. But you gotta be in the mood for something like that, you know. You just can't throw down on Dallas Buyers Club.
Right,
It's like a war movie or like a racial movie, you know, a slavery movie where people are being beaten and mistreated all the way around, you know. But yeah, the other thing is that he has been extorted out of over $10 million in addition to the $20 million. And then, of course, the most sensational rumor mill item is the one you told me about, Matt. Remember?
Oh, where his ex-girlfriend left him because he kept watching tranny porn.
Well, yeah, that and the dude doing them.
Oh yeah. That's supposedly that's why she actually cooked. That's where she says he contracted HIV was from a tranny. Back in the day.
Wow.
Which, if you put all this timeline in order, it actually makes a lot of sense when he went psychotic and was going crazy. That's right about the time he was diagnosed. And he said in his interview that he wishes he could blame it on that, but really it was probably the crack.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
See, okay, so now looking back, I'm down with Lamar's way of partying, except the pace of it. You got to slow it down. Slow and steady wins the race, right?
Right.
Lamar's a little fast out of the gate. You know what I mean? That's what ended up in the hospital, almost killed his ass. But he was not doing any dudes. All right?
That you know of.
That well, he's
In
a
about 4
Kardashian.
Maybe.
Oh.
Maybe.
Kardashian, doesn't that count? That's borderline.
No, you called her Chewbacca.
Chloe. She does look like Chewbacca. I stand by that statement.
Yeah, okay, so we'll live with that. She's a big girl. She's a big bone girl. So anyway,
But it only cost Lamar what, 75 grand?
yeah, what a good party,
Yeah,
right?
30 million.
Yeah,
for
not
Charlie.
$30 million. Oh, by the way, he stands to make an additional. He's not worth just 150. Right now, his net worth's about $150 million. But he's sitting on a gold mine. He's negotiating right now to do a syndication of anger management, which is going to yield him $200 million more. So plenty for the HIV fund. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We're going to get replenished. You know what I mean?
You could just stop telling people altogether with 200 million.
200 million. You're in good
Oh,
shape,
man.
dude. Yeah, that's a lot of millions.
God.
So he'll figure it
I
out.
used
He'll
to look
flesh
up
it
to
out.
him when he won that World Series with the Indians. Way back then.
You know, and
he
look
was
at
a
his
hero.
career, man. Look at his career. It's such a disappointing thing. It's just gotten so out of hand. I mean, Platoon, one of the greatest war movies of all time.
Yeah,
he
I
was
would agree.
absolutely amazing in the movie. Wall Street, amazing at the time and place. You know what I mean? In the '80s when they're doing stock exchange stuff in New York City, just loving it. You know what I mean? He was great. Major League, cult classic. Nothing short of it. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever happened to his brother, Emilio?
Emilio!
Yeah, how do you think his brother and his father feel about they haven't come out and said anything?
Well,
made
actually,
any
shit, man. I mean,
statements?
yeah, Lamar's wife, Chloe, was cool with it. So who knows? Maybe they're real tolerant. Again, Thanksgiving, guys. It's tolerance.
Tolerant with the hookers,
Perfect
not the
timing.
HIV.
Perfect
Yeah.
timing.
My son's just out of control. He likes sex with men. He's got HIV. He's got $250 million. He'll be all right.
No,
Yeah,
life.
life goes on, right? I used to look up to Charlie Sheen, I guess. You know, all that crack and all those hookers.
Where did
Something
Emilio
to aspire
go?
for. He's like an American dream, you know.
Last time I saw Emilio he was being referenced in Night at the Roxbury. He's like, did he die? Or
What
what's
was the
story
last
there?
movie he made? No, he's still alive.
Is he getting checked
2?
somewhere?
Young Guns 2?
Yo, yeah,
Is
that was
the
about
last one?
88.
Yeah, 89, I think.
He's a superstar, dude. He's a
He
A-lister.
probably just drives around and picks up Charlie's crack.
Just off the floor. He makes the residual income on it.
Oh.
Yeah, Charlie's a fucking mess. So anyway, that's the end of Charlie. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So we're here for a good purpose, guys, tonight. We're here for marijuana.
Correct. We're gonna
The good, the bad, the ugly, any way you slice it, type of thing. You know.
absolutely, and we kind of want to hear you guys' thoughts on either Charlie Sheen or legalizing marijuana at 702-483-4444. So call in if you have any thoughts. But we're gonna move into the Charlotte's Web thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Great story, actually. Great story.
It really is a good feel-good story.
Yeah, there's a couple guys in Colorado named the Stanley brothers, and there was this young girl that was having seizures, like constant seizures, a lot of them, and when her parents were trying to go more homeopathic, trying to get her off as many medications and pills and everything, they heard of medical marijuana and its uses against things of that nature. And these guys, the Stanley brothers, they developed and grew a weed that had high CBD content, because marijuana itself has all sorts of different chemicals in it, and THC is the one that gets you high.
What's CBD? What's
CBD is it's not cannabinoids. There's all sorts of different ones. I forget what the word itself is, but it's more or less the medical part of marijuana. It helps a lot with things like seizures and cancer and things of this nature. And
the verdict's out on Alzheimer's, right? There's
pain,
a discussion of
chronic
that.
pain, yeah.
Chronic pain. Gotcha.
That's
Cancer.
one of the big ones.
Or at least
There's been research, but I haven't seen like real scientific research. I've seen like videos of a dad that was putting cannabis oil on his son's nose when he had like cancer, skin cancer.
Wow.
And he did like a time lapse video where throughout this certain amount of time, it started going away, and you could see it like as it was expanding, and then he would put on the cannabis oil and start slowly fading away. And like this little girl's seizures are almost non-existent anymore because of this certain strain that has grown a certain way to help her in the way she needs it.
Wow.
And that's kind of the beauty of like making these things legal, is that you have those kinds of aspects that you would never thought of before.
You know, all these years have gone by, and it's always been a discussion. My entire lifetime, actually, waiting on marijuana to become legal. And when you hear stories like that, I mean, it's pretty much a slam dunk, you know. And then, of course, there's so many other aspects of why it is something that should be a slam dunk deal to be legal in all 50 states for both recreation, you know. And then people are going to be like, "Oh, recreational! God, we're going to have a lazy country. People aren't going to be smart. They're not going to be aggressive. They're not going to do well in life, and this and that." You know, I know that there's empathy out there, like in that
really
direction
get much
too.
lazier as a country, though. Let's be honest.
Exactly, dude. Obesity
Realistically-
is stupid in this country, and it's a real mess, you know.
I remember when this story first came out, I watched it on like Dateline or 2020, and these parents with these kids that have these seizures were moving across state lines there, like, and you were the one who was telling me that
They drove from Michigan to Colorado, and they would do it often. That oil that Spencer was talking about, well, that's some magical stuff. I'm not talking about seizures like where it's just a little tremor. We're talking about seizures that can kill people, that they bite their tongue and die, and they can choke, and they can
Grand mal
seizures and knock their head in walls, and you better believe it. And since they went and secured this oil and brought it back, basically it really took off the edge of that quite a bit, actually. And in some cases, it also reduced the amount of events of seizures as well. So the deal was, the reason why it was on the Nightline or whatever, 48 Hours, I remember watching it, is because the parents were getting they were actually being threatened to be criminally prosecuted.
correct.
But basically the sentiment was, we're going to let this happen because we know it's just the right thing to do, type of thing. So they kind of turned the other way on it, you know what I mean? But the parents just simply said, look, if my baby needs it, I don't care what happens to me. I'm going to do everything that I can to make their lives and the quality of their life better.
Well, what about the part where they looked the other way, like the government looked the other way when a police officer stole weed from his cop car and made pot brownies with his wife? And then he trips out and freaks out and calls 911 and says, like, I think we're dying, I think we're dead, and literally calls them to bring them in, and like it's a 5-minute long like phone call to 911 from this police officer. But the thing that bugs me the most is that this cop didn't get persecuted. He'd resigned and is no longer a police officer, but they didn't press charges. And like, how does somebody in that kind of stance get away with something like that when there's people that actually need it that are getting prosecuted?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
It is one of the funniest 911 phone calls I've ever heard, by the
it's
way.
hilarious.
It's hilarious. You know, it reminds me of Cheech and Chong, where he's like, I think I took too much, man.
Yeah, you guys played it for me. It's just bizarre. The cop is on there, and he's like, I don't know. I think I took too much of this stuff, and my wife and I are dying. I don't know if I'm dead already, and I'm calling you. I don't know what's going on. It was pretty bizarre, man. It really, really was. No question about that, right?
Absolutely. So you had brought up recreational marijuana, though. I mean, I think it should be a state's issue. Personally, I don't think the federal government has any hand in it whatsoever. But the economic benefit is hands down. I mean, next year it's going to be $1 billion industry in the state of Colorado alone. This year it's made $700 million, and that is just from marijuana sales, marijuana-related revenue. That's not even including the fees that they pay, the taxation, your paraphernalia that you buy to smoke it, the munchies that you get after you smoke it.
Cheeto stocks going through the roof.
Exactly. Well,
Right.
Peyton Manning did a really interesting interview because he owns a bunch of Papa John's pizzas in Colorado, and he was like, right after they legalized it, he's like, "Business is great. This is awesome." Like, he doesn't even need to play anymore.
Speaking of him, he sucks.
Sorry, Broncos fans.
Yeah, Peyton Manning sucks. See, he's probably the worst quarterback ever. Somebody was at the bar last week, and they're like, "Dude, Peyton Manning's still top 5 quarterback." I'm like, the game he went out a couple weeks ago, guys, he had 9 completions in the game. 5 to his team, 4 to their team.
Oh.
You following me? Before they pulled him out, he's done. Like Old Yeller, dude. Jeff said it himself. You got to take her out back. You know what I mean? It's time to go.
I'm still convinced both the Manning brothers have an extra chromosome that we don't know about.
Well, they do have that weird forehead, dude.
That's
It
what I'm
is
saying.
Strange,
the
bro.
8 head.
Yeah.
The
They-
8 head.
You can't miss that forehead.
You can't,
It
really.
does not. I bet he has to have custom helmets, dude, because that shit ain't fitting in a
Probably.
standard issue.
He doesn't need to play anymore, though. He's making a ton of money off the stoners in Colorado selling pizza. So
Well, not just that, but I mean, he doesn't need to play because he's got vertebrae issues, guys, and he's been lucky enough to kind of tiptoe around his medical
Oh,
issues
come
because if
on.
he takes one to the back, dude, he's not going to be able to use his pecker anymore, bro. He's done, dude.
you know the
You see what I'm saying?
biggest threat to a football player is a concussion.
Concussion. Yeah, well, imagine the biggest threat to a football player is having a couple $100 million not being able to use your goddamn pecker, dude. That's what I'm saying is the biggest threat to a football player.
I guess that's when you become best friends with Charlie Sheen.
you got to use your imagination, dude. And, you know, it only goes so far. The whole imagination.
Don't they build like a
thing.
pump or something? You work in the medical field, don't they have like a
They have plenty of
Well, you know what
all
I mean?
sorts
Like
of stuff.
artificial
implant or
pumpings?
something? 200 million, you got to be able to get some kind of an
Implant.
implant.
No, dude.
A mechanical implant?
Exactly. I saw it in a
What's
movie.
the point of that, though? I mean, you still wouldn't be able to feel
nerves.
anything.
Yeah.
That's true, I guess.
It's just pleasure.
Some things you just can't pay for, bro. And once that turns off
That's
downstairs, you're finished, dude.
Stem cells. Just start growing them in test tubes.
Nah.
Maybe. Who
I'm
knows?
out.
Are they growing ears?
Once the little guy downstairs doesn't work, I'm 45.
Oh.
Done.
45.
Sign me up too, bro. I
Yeah,
think I'm
I'm
down
out,
with that
man, I'm
because
out.
that'd be a terrible thing to lose. You know what I mean?
Ugh.
Yeah, that thing blows my mind every
might
time
be
I
able to-
take part in it. You know?
I might be able to give up a testy, but that's it. That's as far as I go.
Right.
50,000 on the black market.
But not
I'm
being
okay
able
with
to consummate relationship, I don't know about that, dude. With all that money, and Peyton Manning runs that risk every time he goes out on that field, and the more he deteriorates and the slower he gets. Those guys that are coming after him are different athletes than when he came up. Okay, these guys are lean, tall, fast. The ones that he played with in 1998, they were like fat and blubbery and stuff like that. You know, they didn't move quite like the guys now. Like J.J. Watt is a great example of that. I mean, the guy's like moves like a freight train, dude. You know what I mean? He takes one from JJ, he all done, dude.
Well, since we're speaking of Colorado, I heard John Elway is just a prick to work with, too. Like, absolutely, just no one likes working with the guy. He's just a complete asshole. is
Yeah,
what I've
besides,
heard.
he's got horse teeth, too. It's so disgusting, dude. When I see him on TV, it's just gross. It's the grossest thing I ever seen. But he's rich. He's really rich.
Who's your
dude.
team?
What?
Who's your team?
I don't have one, dude.
Oh, I didn't-
Yeah, in fact, I don't
I
watch
didn't
NFL
think so.
football anymore.
Yeah, okay.
Because the team that I used to like sucks so bad, it's just hard to watch, really. It's almost like watching a murder scene every week, like tape it off and everything. I used to be a Philadelphia Eagle fan, but football's dead to me now. But the good news is UNLV Rebel basketball is alive and well. God damn it. We went out to Hawaii this week, okay? And we lost our first game to UCLA by 2 points, okay? And I'm a huge UNLV fan. I'm an alumni. I got my season tickets going. Jeff and I got our football season tickets going. Haven't been to a game since, or since we
Yeah.
bought them. Yeah, the
No
season's
point.
over.
No point.
Yeah.
Yeah, no point to have him.
No point.
I just was like, I just gotta get involved. You know what I mean? Because there's a new coach. I felt good about it. You know, front row seats.
They were
go
like
to one game.
$1.50 for the whole season.
Yeah, buck and a half. Yeah. So they went out to Maui and they lost to UCLA, who was coached by Steve Alford. Okay, and his boy Bryce plays there. We lost by 2. It was a heartbreaker. They made 23 free throws in a row. It was terrible. And then we beat Chaminade yesterday, but today we beat Indiana, and they're number 13 in the country.
That was a big win.
That was a very big win, and I'm so happy for Coach Rice. I'm so happy for the university. So happy for these kids. You know, it's kind of like something they can really build upon. They're a young team, very talented, a lot of great athletes on the team. So we'll see where it goes with the Rebels. You know, only time will tell. Absolutely. So at this time, we're probably going to take a break. We're at the halfway home mark, and we'll see you guys when we get back.
Welcome back. You're listening to the American Mind Grind. We want to hear from you guys if you have any thoughts on Charlie Sheen or medical marijuana. 702-483-4444.
I'll tell you what, I hang out with a lot of people that smoke weed, and they're not calling. What the hell, dude?
Yeah, exactly.
Be proud. Stand tall, motherfucker.
They're too
All you-
high to find the phone.
All you mail checkers.
They can't find. They don't know how to dial.
They're like, I always lose that stupid thing. God damn it, where
What's
is
that
it?
ringing in my head?
Either that or they're waiting for a call from their pot dealer. They're like, I can't tie up 2 lines, man. I can't do it.
Actually, speaking of, I saw that movie the night before last night, and it was hilarious. With Seth Rogen and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and of course there was weed smoking involved. And
Every Seth Rogen movie has weed smoking in it, doesn't it? He's like a huge pothead.
Love Pineapple
I heard
Express.
that's like a hilarious movie.
it was hilarious. And usually I'm not on the all right, stupid funny movie. I think the last movie that I really laughed out loud every 10 minutes was probably Superbad.
Okay.
On that kind of level.
Right, gotcha.
Obviously, you know, some of the other stuff that he's done has been funny, but it's been more stupid than funny.
Right.
But yeah, it was hilarious.
What's the basic gist of the movie? What's the summation of it? What happens?
I mean, of course, there's a lesson to the story, but basically Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen and some other guy, I actually don't know his name, new probably comer actor, all celebrate Christmas every single year because Joseph Gordon-Levitt's parents died like 10 years before, and now they all are grown up and they have families, so he is basically on his own.
Right.
And this is their last Christmas tradition, and they're trying to find this nutcracker party that they heard about 10 years ago. Every single year they try and find this nutcracker party. It's supposed to be the biggest party ever.
Sure.
But throughout the movie, they meet up with Mr. Green, who is their pot dealer.
Gotcha.
And it's just hilarious. I mean, I don't really want to give too much away, but obviously it
was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
We're seeing, huh?
Wow. I was telling you, my favorite movie, and maybe our pick of the week should be, based on our show tonight and the conversation that we're having, is Half Baked. You guys remember that?
Great movie.
And I have a question for you, Matt.
What?
Have you ever done a radio show on weed?
I actually told you, Jeff, maybe, and I told you if you guys picked which show it was, that I would pay you guys $20 each, and you still haven't found it, so I'm not going to answer that.
Right.
I plead the fifth.
I plead the fifth. I never came in high.
My favorite stoner movie, though, actually, is Super Troopers. Hands down favorite.
that's a good
Greatest
one.
movie ever.
Schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
That is a good one.
What about you, Spence? What's your favorite stoner movie?
Oh, that's tough. I don't know. I really like Pineapple Express, but I don't know. There's like, oh, that's tough. There's a movie called The Evil Bong.
Really?
Like the most cheesiest, ridiculous movie where this bong comes alive, and like when you smoke it, it looks like a hoop. It's like this big, huge thing, and like they hit it out of the tube, and when they hit it, it like steals their soul, and they end up getting sucked inside of it, and like
I think I saw the first
There's-
5 minutes of that.
Where do you find it?
they've got
Did it win
sequels
the
and
Academy
everything.
Award for Best Film? I think I
A
heard that
Razzie,
one.
maybe. A Razzie.
Yeah, I swear they even have sequels and everything. Like it's crazy.
So it's like the shark one.
Sharknado. Or
Sharknado.
something. It's just cheesy and ridiculous.
Sharknado made a ton of money, though. They have 3
Ton.
now, right? Like 3
Oh,
Sharknadoes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a franchise now, bud.
Yep.
That's a fact. You know, it's funny. When something I've always heard about weed is that I would prefer being in a room of people who are stoned as opposed to people who are drinking. And there's something to be said about that. I've been hearing that for years and years and years. It's always created great discussion, debate about it. And I have to say, I would agree with that. I would agree with that sentiment.
I would agree with that too, and I think a big part of it too is, you know, if you smoke weed, you're kind of chilling, you relax. But a lot of people drink alcohol and they get angry or crazy.
Black out.
You know,
Don't
exactly.
know what's going on at that point.
Not just that, but I think they act totally out of character when. And I know this. I've been serving drinks since I was old enough to serve drinks, and I've seen people do things that are definitely not within their character. Poor decision making, and violence is definitely an aspect of my job. Now, where I work now at Gen Y, I call it Bar Y or X. Or Bar X. Where I work now, it's really not much of a factor. You come in quite a bit.
Yeah.
But we did have an incident, you know, that was alcohol related.
Yeah, there's been a couple times where older guys drinking, just sitting there all by themselves, doing nothing but getting blackout drunk, are playing music in the jukebox, and then somebody wants to play a song in between. And there was a night where this old guy was getting all up in some random dude's face, like we barely know the guy, we see him at the bar sometimes. This poor guy's like cowering down, and like this old drunk guy's just looking over him, and we had to like kind of like try to intervene a little bit, but even still we're trying to be wary, like we're not trying to cause problems, but still, like, it gets to be a bit much when people get blackout drunk like that. They don't really know what's going on.
Well, and you certainly don't want to punch an old man.
Well, of course.
Let me ask you this question, because you just brought this up.
Sure.
You've been in the service industry forever. Would you ever see yourself transitioning if recreational weed came here to like a hash bar? Serving up bong rips, bro.
Over in Amsterdam.
I would love it.
You would?
I would love to be like a marijuana concierge.
Yeah.
Like even with the gold keys and everything.
Yeah.
I'll take you there, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll get you what you want, you know. But where I used to work, man, there was fights all the time. This was in the late 1990s and early 2000s, but we had some events there that were just unbelievable, like just straight up crazy, and always alcohol related. So, you know, looking back, I would definitely, I have no objections. I don't smoke weed, man. I used to smoke a ton of weed when I was in college. In fact, I loved weed. It just got too strong for me. You know what I mean? It like the way they make it now, man, it's crazy. We'll have pictures, I'm sure, on the green screen of some of the strands that are now being, you know. And how does that happen? They integrate the male and the female, and then they reintegrate it. How does that work? Do you know anything about that?
Well, really, the really good strains are mostly females. Like once you start getting the males involved in that, that's when you start getting seeds and things like that, and it starts interfering. So you'll have like whole crops of females, and then have like specific plants that you use to breed. But that even goes to say, with the whole fact of it being illegal, it causes more of the need for people, like all the weed that people wanted were the ones that were illegal, trying to get it illegally.
Right.
And they wanted to get high. So over the years, slowly, they started getting more weeds that make you more high, and then you have more THC content.
Just like anything else, you do it better now than you did back then.
Because that was the market that was there, because it was illegal. Now that it's becoming more legal, you're seeing more things come up, like Charlotte's Web, where they have that high CBD content, because they're growing it differently based on what's going to sell and what's going to benefit people. So if it's becoming legal, you're going to have more opportunities for different kinds that are going to do different things.
I would also suspect that technology's come a long way in the weed growing business. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm sure they got lighting,
the lamps and the
hydroponics
facilities and the hydroponic aspect of it.
I heard about a lab in California called Alpine Labs. It's a $500 million lab that makes like oils and wax for like dabs and stuff.
Right.
And they literally take it, and it's just THC, and then they'll add like flavors and stuff to it. Like there's tangerine and lemon and stuff like this. And it's like, it's crazy.
Flavored weed?
Absolutely crazy. It's like $500 million lab from what I've heard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy
it's
Breaking
called
Bad.
Alpine or something like that nature.
Now, you brought up a good point. So since the federal government, it is obviously still illegal, a federally offense, you know. Do you believe that once the government gets involved taxating and regulating everything, that they're going to screw it up? I mean, the old Ronald Reagan quote goes, the worst thing you can hear is, hey, I'm from the government and I'm here to help, you know? Mm-hmm. Is there any concern on your ground level? Because now you're paying taxes on it, for one, so your price is going to go up. You know, they can regulate the potency of it now.
Right.
You know, is that any concern for any of you guys?
Well, I mean, I think of like alcohol went through the same kind of thing before with prohibition and everything. You know what I mean? I'm sure moonshine was a lot crazier than what we're getting now with our Jack Daniels or whatever.
Sure.
But that was because it was illegal, and all they wanted to get it for was to get fucking drunk. You know what I mean? So they were doing it at bars like that. So that's the same kind of thing. Like right now, we have really intense weed because these people are out there trying to get super stoned.
Right.
But once you have people that are just wanting to get high and hang out after work. Like people want to go
Like
home
someone
and
like
get a
Eric
beer.
to say he wanted just
Yeah,
to
you-
buy the weed that they had
they're-
back in the 90s.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
I'd like to lower the lower my dosage. You know what I mean? You
that's
know,
the
that
point,
brings up
yeah.
a great point, because when we're using it in a medical application, like those kids that had those illnesses and stuff like that, the THC is almost completely taken out of the mix.
0.03% or something in Charlotte's Web.
0.03%.
So you can also you can separate the components for specific cure or relief in some cases. You know what I mean? My stepdad, I lost him about a year and a half ago, and you know, he was in a lot of pain, man. He came off of the chemotherapy, he got cancer, and he used marijuana on a daily basis, and God bless him. You know, it really helped him through a catastrophic medical problem. You know, so to me, I've never had a problem with it. I think it should be legal everywhere. Ronald Reagan, it's funny you said that. Ronald Reagan would be rolling over in his goddamn grave. His entire agenda as
War
a
on
president
drugs.
was the war on drugs, say no to drugs. Him and Nancy Reagan sitting there going, no, dude, it's a gateway drug. Is it really a gateway drug? And I suspect it's not, because when we did our show about prescription medications and U.S. shortages of doctors about 7 weeks ago, Matt, we specifically researched that, and it turns out that opiates and prescription medications and things like that were way more prevalent in regards to like gateway drugs and putting people into some severe drug usage.
Me and Spencer were actually just talking about this right before we went on air. The stigma that I think why kids use it as a gateway drug is not because it's going to make you go smoke crack or shoot up heroin or anything like that. It's because the way that people are presented, they lump this in with cocaine and ecstasy and all these drugs, and then a kid smokes a joint for the first time and he's like, they were lying. This whole time they were lying to me. I
Yeah.
laughed my ass off. I ate 3 bags of chips and I fell asleep for 12 hours.
Oh, don't forget, if they're millennials, you know, I mean, they played a whole lot of video games,
Exactly.
dude. They've saved the world and shit in their living room, you know. I mean, oh, this is awesome.
So they smoked their first joint and they realized that everything everyone's ever told them about it is complete bullshit. We
Yeah.
really need to educate people on the benefits of it and what it is. Be honest with them. What you're going to do, you're going to get a little lazy, you're going to get a little hungry, and you're going to pass out. You're going to fall asleep, you know what I mean?
know,
and you
there-
might get the giggles.
Sure, and there's an intellectual exploration aspect of it too. I mean, no question about it. I remember back in the day, I used to be able to solve the entire world's problems on that shit.
Well, not to
It's
mention
crazy,
too,
like in a half hour.
not to mention too. So say you do have to go to the black market to buy your marijuana. What
Yeah.
are the odds that the guy who you're buying your marijuana from is going to have cocaine or ecstasy or some other kind of drug where
Sure.
he's like, hey, you know, I got this new flavor this week.
Yeah.
That is kind of where the driving force behind the gateway drug, I think, is. I don't know what you guys think, but
And I also like the whole idea of just even researching it. I feel like it was more of a political agenda to make it illegal, because like why didn't they do this kind of research before they made it illegal? You know what I mean? It doesn't make much sense to like just lump something in. Oh, it's bad for you because we say it's bad for you. It's like they could have done this kind of research and kind of
Or
gotten
maybe
better ideas.
maybe they did and they saw the effects, just like having a cure for cancer or something like that. They just want to keep driving the industry of
Big pharma. We call that big
Correct.
pharma.
we did a
Medical
show
industry.
just on that.
Yeah,
And
we-
what's the guy that cured cancer in the 1800s you and Jeff told me about?
Oh, the Gershwin miracle,
Yeah.
bro, with the coffee enemas and high dosages of vitamin C.
Yeah.
They killed his ass, dude.
They-
His daughter had all his research and was able to keep that stuff alive. They wanted that. They wanted it. They don't want that to come out. Think about it.
Right.
Some of the biggest lobbyists in regards to politics is people that are involved with big pharma.
Absolutely.
There's big money in that, you know. The other thing about legalizing it, isn't there like a quality aspect of this also? The quality would be regulated. You would have a better product consistently, as opposed to the guy on the street selling like stress weed from Mexico or something like that.
Correct. But the way Nevada's doing it is actually, Nevada's always, let's face it, been a corrupt state a little bit. We had the mob, we got the casinos now, you know what I mean? But you have to have $250,000 liquid assets to even open up a medical marijuana dispensary in the state of Nevada. So who is that going to go to? That is obviously going to go to the very, very wealthy people.
Absolutely, because
You
if you
know.
have that kind of spendable money, and the thing is, that's a major investment, but I suspect it's a great business model. I mean,
Absolutely.
not only do you have the people that are going to use it recreationally, but the ones that are being scripted it, you know, I mean, they need it, you know, type of thing. It's a captivated type of like, the business model is wonderful. I don't think you could lose money at this.
Can you imagine the profit margin for the first dispensary on the strip? The very first one. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
a zillionaire overnight.
And vehicle homicides shortly after. I'm stoned, walk across.
There might be too many
Dead.
bright lights to smoke weed down there, I guess, huh?
You'll be seeing a bright white light, bro.
I don't think a lot of people realize, though, that medical marijuana has been legal in Nevada since 2000.
Is that right?
We just haven't had a system to distribute it until 2013, June 12th of 2013. Is when they finally acted and said, okay, now you guys can have a way to distribute it. But I mean, who's going to end up with these medical marijuana licenses? Probably Tobin's kids, the Finley kids, you know what I mean? All of these rich
Right, sure.
millionaires' kids that have sat around and smoked weed forever.
Yep. It's not
That's who's
the, it's
gonna
not the
end up
dime
with
bag
it.
guy on
Exactly,
the corner
you know,
that's going to be doing
it's
this.
definitely not gonna be
This
the
is
good
business
old-fashioned.
people.
They're
It's a
actually not
legitimate business.
expensive. The licenses really aren't even that expensive. I think they're like $200-$300 to be honest.
But having the storefront and having the ability
Oh,
to sell,
yeah,
that's the
as far as
major
that's
capital
concerned, yeah.
investment.
You got to have 250 liquid assets, and it's $5,000 to the state to just apply for the
Oh, is that
license
right?
to have either a cultivation license or a distribution license. It doesn't matter.
I got
It's
a thing.
$5,000.
I got a zone variance notification from in my neighborhood. They wanted to turn this thing into a dispensary, and I suspect everyone's like, "Fuck no, man! I don't want that type of business or whatever." I was indifferent. I put that's fine.
Right.
It is what it is. They're going to have parking spots. You go up, you get your thing. You know what I mean? I was with somebody in California, a buddy of mine. He got his medical marijuana card, right? Now, everyone knows an eighth of kick-ass bud's like $60, right? And everyone knows that an ounce of that shit's about $400, right? So we walked into a medical marijuana joint out
Haven't smoked weed
dispensary.
since the 90s, huh?
What?
Yeah, I was
Haven't
gonna
smoked
say,
weed
that's a
since the
little- those are
90s,
some
huh?
Old,
Yeah, buddy.
old numbers there.
Smoked maybe, maybe
Yeah.
not eaten.
Yeah.
though.
Purchased?
It was secondhand smoke. But anyway, we walked into this place, and I have some friends that partake, I must say. So I still have the verbiage down. Anyway, we got an ounce of kick-ass cron bud, beautiful green, gorgeous. You could pick like different little flavor, Thai and chocolate and blah blah blah. $175.
Wow.
That's half in your investment. And money, as far as like you can sit there and like look at it and play with it and sniff on it, and you can do all that with it, whatever you got to do.
Right. And I think the biggest benefit that we're going to see in the next 10 years with the medical marijuana is going to be the veterans coming back from Afghanistan and Iraq with PTSD. They're still doing studies on this, and because once you have PTSD, you're automatically pre-exposed to being addictive, having addictive personalities. Weed's not addictive. I don't know if anyone's told you guys that. I don't believe it is. But I think that's really where we're going to see the leaps and bounds come.
Sleep disorders. You're going to have sleep disorder
Correct.
issues
The night
and
tremors.
violence. I mean, you hear about all these nightmare
management.
stories.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I would suspect that would really help people who are kind of on the edge,
Absolutely. I think that's where the suicide rate among veterans is through the roof right now, and I think
More
that's
than any,
really
people I think don't realize that when veterans come back, they have a higher risk of dying from
Suicide.
suicide.
Super
than they
high.
kill
Super high in
over-
the suicide.
Yeah, in another country. So yeah, that is another.
I think I'm gonna score a dime back tonight, and I'm gonna smoke it tomorrow
You
when
gonna
that
go see
fucking
Cash Money?
when those assholes come over to my house.
You're going to go see Cash Money?
You know what I'm saying?
PTSD.
I'm gonna smoke a big fat bong load. So, I'd like to thank you, Jessica Wood, and you, my friend, Spencer Blaze. I'm so happy you came, man.
I'll see you at the bar later.
Happy
tonight, I'm sure.
Thanksgiving, y'all. Enjoy your
Happy
turkey day.
Thanksgiving.
I know I won't be.
But then I got high. My room is still messed up, and I know why. Why, man? Yeah, cause I got high. Because I got high. Because I got high.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are about to witness the American Mind Grind, a controversial show that covers topics of all size, shape, and color. Please be advised, this show will make your brain hurt. If you have a faint heart or weak liver, it is suggested that you consult your physician before participating. Others may consider a glass of water and 2 Advil to lower your blood pressure. You will have to think. Your mind will get addicted to our program. We bring it to you straight and do not duck any of the issues. Although it may hurt, this show is good for you. We must be aware of our surroundings and understand what is happening in this crazy world we live in. Remember, the comments of this show are that of opinion only. We are not professionals. We will not be held responsible for any of the stupid things you may or may not do after listening to our show.